Welcome, everybody. Sean Malone here, one of the co-founders alongside of Simon Severino, the co-founders of the Elevate podcast. We're so excited to have you here. Happy New Year. If this is your first day coming back from the holiday season, hope you had a wonderful time with your family. You got some time to defrag, decompress, and now you're ready to kick some ass. This is going to be the podcast you're going to listen to the entire year because we're going to be covering topics that founders need to elevate their business to the next level. Today, we're diving in, starting at the beginning, about building the right target audiences. So we have expert Simon Severino. Simon, Happy New Year. How are you doing, man?
Happy New Year. You know, we Christmas is a big thing for us because we have three kids under 9, and Christmas is built for small kids. For them, it's magical. You're creating memories, the tree and this, and all that, and singing and baking together. So we're coming from that world.
I love that. A lot of joy and happiness over there. I hear it. So, yeah, absolutely. Today, we're going to dive into building the right target audience, like we ever do on the show. We have 5 questions that we're going to go through together, and then we have a lightning round at the end. And don't forget to stick around for next week's session. Next week's going to be really valuable. We're covering something that I think a lot of businesses need to take a deeper look at here in 2025. That's gamification. So if you're interested in gamification, you're going to want to tune in next week. But this week, we're diving into the right target audience. Let's go. Simon, question number 1. Let's start. The first question is this: how can a founder identify the specific problems their target audience is facing, and why is this so crucial?
Listening is the answer. How can we listen? Comments on your YouTube videos, comments, questions that you get when you do webinars, workshops. This is why webinars, workshops are important, because you collect those questions that you get as replies on your emails, questions that you get when you prospect. Those are the collectible and collected questions. Plus, I ask Claude and Perplexity to read through all the Amazon reviews and find out what people care about about this product or this service. Tell me, when people buy sales coaching, what do they hate? What do they love? So the first part is collecting the questions that you get anyways. Take all your comments, replies seriously, read them, and then also expose yourself more to questions. Do Q&As, do workshops, do webinars. Get out there.
I love it.
And the second part is research. If you ask Claude, hey, read all the Amazon reviews about this, you are getting a ton of research. Very quick, very cheap, $20 a month.
Yeah, I love it. I think that's a total cheat code. So for anybody that's listening, and just to kind of recap that, Simon dropped the gold nugget already today. He said, go use Perplexity or Claude. And the reason those two over a GBT or something like that is just because they're more focused on actual research. And I think like a Perplexity, for an example, if you go and say, research all the Amazon reviews on a certain product or a certain thing or certain whatever, like Simon says, you're getting a lot of research to do that. That's going to help you to identify all of the pain or the problems that your clients may be having or facing. I think the other biggest thing to do, and this is something that we've done for every business that we've ever built, this is my 8th one, is to put a list together of 20 to 50, probably closer to 50 of your dream clients, the people you'd love to work with and serve, and call them up, get on the phone with them, and just simply ask them, hey, are you struggling in this area with your business? Like when I launched my sales agency a number of years ago, what we did is we help entrepreneurs to hire, onboard, and train sales teams. That was what our agency did. I called 40 people that I wanted to work with, and I said, hey, you guys struggling with sales? And a lot of them said yes. And so by the end of talking to all 40 of those people, before we even started any business, what we did is we had a full idea of the top 3 to 5 problems that every single one of these people were going to face, because we heard it over and over and over. And that's the best type of marketing research you can do. Number one, you're going to find clients from that process. Like at the end of ours, we had 5 people raise their hand and say, Sean, we're not getting off the phone with you. until we put a deal together. And that really was the birth of our agency. And we weren't even trying to birth an agency. We just said, hey, this is what we do. We're really good at it. Do you struggle with it? And they said, yes. And that was that. So that's one thing that I would encourage you to do. So to keep it easy, number one, just talk to your dream potential clients and ask if they have a problem with the thing that you're good at solving. That's a great way to figure out how you can identify specific problems. And then again, use AI to do some research. So I would say that's pretty good for that first question. Let's move on to the next one, Simon. Unless you have any rebuttal there that you want to share on my
And by
last
the
piece
way,
there.
this is not rehearsed, guys. Okay, he's asking me questions that I have no clue
Yeah.
about, and I'm winging it here.
That's the best way, man. The authentic, real, organic truth. What's the best way to test if your product or service truly resonates with your intended audience?
We do every Monday, every swim lane. So we have a spreadsheet called the focus card. Every Monday, everybody says, okay, my focus this week is improving the sign up rate. My focus this week is improving the LinkedIn engagement rate. My focus this week is improving the, um, the YouTube subscribers. So every swim lane has one focus, and that focus has a metric in the spreadsheet. So when we come together then on Friday, 5 days later, there is a number. For example, my number of this week was, Simon, your focus is, we just launched the app. So your focus is members of the new app. So people who signed up to the new app. And so now it's Wednesday. The number is 132. On Friday, I will report whatever that number is, but I'm on it. I know what my team will be asking me, and I don't want to show up with a low number. So I will love every number. 133, 134. I will be already a little bit excited because I see myself coming to the Friday meeting with wins, with successes, and that energizes others, right? So, am I answering your question? So, how will we
Yeah, I mean
know
it's
that it
close. I mean
works?
it's like I
Metrics.
love yeah. So metrics is definitely I think the key in all of this. Again, it's what's the best way to test if your product truly resonates is the question. And so I think like what you're saying is absolutely true. So you got to get yourself some people that can go test your stuff, whether it's your product or your services. And if you don't have any yet, that's what Simon's talking about. Like his metric that he measures is, look, we got to put some people in the program. If the program's not attractive enough to get some people to join it, then obviously we're not doing our job with making something that resonates. And so the key is, and again, if you're just getting started, one of the best pieces of advice I got a long time ago was serve one or two people for free and get them results first, right? And then after you do that, what typically happens is you'll stumble into things that you had no idea was an actual big problem that you can solve because you already have the skill to solve it, but you just didn't know it was a problem. And so I think the best way to test if your product or service truly resonates is if you're just starting, serve for free. If you're just launching a new thing, like Simon just launched an app, and he was telling me the success that he's had. He's had hundreds of people join in the last like week and a half, which is congratulations, dude. That's incredible. And again, so first of all, does that resonate? Well, you wouldn't have had hundreds of people join something like that unless it did resonate. And then the more so important thing is with an app, retention. So how long are they sticking? Why are they leaving? And so now you can enter things like surveys, and you can do focus groups, or you can launch new little. Again, Simon's minimum viable product with his app has collected 200 people. So now he has the test and he has the data. So now I can move forward. Right, Simon?
Exactly. And inside the app, we're building challenges. How are we measuring the challenge? Will we wait for a month? No. We have asked 3 people who are in there, hey, would you help me? Give me feedback on this challenge. I just built it. And so the first 2, they gave us the feedback, I don't know what to do. So you know immediately, oops, you have to go back and rebuild it. So they are stuck. They joined and they don't know what the next thing is. So we have to change how that next prompt pops up. And so this is how you create those little loops that are small enough that you can learn every Friday. This is important because we all have seen teams that start a project and then measure monthly or even a 6 months project, but then you don't really know if what you're building is working. So everything gets the smallest loop possible. Can I A/B test this? Can I build it and ask 3 people? That's the loop that you want to create. Inside of a program, you have hundreds of these loops. And then you know, okay, the program is working. But it's made of so many small loops.
Yeah, absolutely. It's almost Will Smith says fail fast or fail forward, I think is what he says. And it's interesting because a lot of people, when they start a business as a founder, they think to themselves, oh, I got to go build the whole app. I got to have every challenge, every summit. I got to have every product, every single thing inside of there before you launch. And the answer to that is no, don't do that, right? Most of the best entrepreneurs and founders that you've probably come across have started from a place of minimum viable product. So, what we want to do, like as an example, when I started a mastermind, okay, mastermind 15 people in the sessions every 3 months, and I ran this for years and years and years. How we did it was we built a 1 page PDF with the outline of what was going to go into that masterclass. And that's all the prep we did before we went and started selling it. So the point here is if you're just starting something new, sell the idea and get people to pay you for it before you build it. So what Simon's done is he now has 200 people that he's gotten into his app, and now he's going to launch a challenge. He has the opportunity to launch a paid challenge for like $5, $10, or $100, or whatever he wants to charge, right? And now he has this group that he can pull into that challenge, test it, and if it works, guess what? He's going to pump his price because that's what he does, right? That's what we all should do. So I think that's really awesome. Just kind of keep that in mind. Really valuable. Let's move on to question number 3. How do you balance? Let's talk about audiences, big and small, Simon. So how do you balance attracting a broad audience versus staying focused on a niche market?
I would not recommend to attract a broad audience. The beauty of the internet is the niche is huge. The niche, you're talking millions of people, and
Yeah.
you can reach them. So if you are really niching down 5 levels deep, which we always recommend, right? So you're not talking to entrepreneurs, you're talking to entrepreneurs who are Mac users, live in a city, have 2 dogs, and love steaks, for example. Okay, this is five
Okay, pause,
levels
pause, pause,
deep.
pause, pause. I want you to dissect that because what you just shared is like the ultra key for people to really focus on the right target. So could you go through that a little bit slower?
5 levels deep. Do 5 levels, whatever it is. You say, okay, I'm helping women. Okay, what are you helping them do? So I'm helping women have more money. Okay, so what is it? Which women are you helping? Okay, I'm helping women who are they in a city or in a rural area? Do they have more than 3 kids or less than 3 kids? Are they iPhone user or Android user? Do they have a car or rent a car? Go deep. Yeah, go deep. Do they want to become to get to the first 100K in assets, or to the first million in assets, or to the first 5 million in assets? Make these little decisions, and make them 5 levels deep. Are they single or are they married? Make these little decisions. And now, pre-internet, we would be totally scared because when you niche down 5 levels deep, now your total addressable market is tiny.
Yeah.
But the beauty of the internet is you can be extremely niched 5 levels deep, and you still have a directly addressable market of 15 million people. It's not as small as you think it is, because you can reach them with LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. You can reach them pretty soon, And it might be 2 million women that you're talking about. How many clients do you really need? Probably 25 this year. You see
Yeah,
the
I mean, a
relation.
lot. I love it because a lot of people come to me and they're like, "Sean, I want 1 million of clients." I'm like, "Okay, which clients?" And then they have no idea. So doing this exercise, I think, is so valuable. And guess what? What Simon just shared is like one of the ultra keys to the universe for you to find the right niche. Like, so you got to define it. Go 5 levels deep. Hey, I help founders that are in the United States to speak English, that have a business that are doing between 0 and 100 million, that have 5 employees. I could go deep and deep and deep into my exact person. And what becomes really magical about doing that, if you haven't done it yet, is your marketing gets really spicy, right? You can turn around now and you know exactly who this person is and how to talk with them. A lot of advertisement that we see on any social is always really based around more generic stuff. And I might be calling out, hey, founders, or hey, agency owners, or hey, whatever, right? Like, but the key is that advertisement, if it's not really focused on an ad, like as an example, like an ads agency owner who has kids and is faith based, right? You can speak, if it's that, to that person a lot deeper, and that's going to hook them back harder into you and your tribe and your movement, and that's going to create a raving fan. Because as you've read that book, Raving Fans, it talks about 1,000 raving fans, and that's all you need,
Yeah.
right?
And let me share one bonus tool with you guys, because in the strategy sprints method, we do this, which is both. It has the on the left side the 5 levels. In this example, you have business owner, so it's not an employee. On the right side, you see the opposite. We call it the anti-ideal client, the anti-ICP. So it's a high ticket offer above $10,000, no low ticket offer. They sell online versus they sell brick and mortar. They are innovators versus detractors. They are doing per month right now in revenue above 35K and not below 35K. This is how you do it in practice. This is from the strategy sprints, one tool of the 274 tools. And
You know what gets really unique when you have a list like that, because everybody listening, watching, and those people catching this replay are going to look at that list, and what are they going to do? The first thing most people do is they self deselect, or they self select themselves into that. So they pre-qualify themselves before they even go start a conversation. When somebody does that as a prospect and then they come talk to you, game over. Just ask the right questions.
then you're talking to the right people. And now you're not wasting their time, you're not wasting your time, you have more fun.
Yeah, 100%. Love that. Thank you for sharing that. Think it's so valuable. Guys, if you're catching some big ahas, please drop comments. This is always a conversation. Would love to see some comments down below. Let's move to question 4, Simon. This one's about tools and platforms. Which ones do you recommend for research and reaching ideal clients?
Research, I do Claude and Perplexity,
Okay.
but actually I do webinars and I do community. I listen to them. That's what I do. I ask questions. That's probably the tool number one, is asking questions, and I ask questions all the time. So, for example, right now, we could have this conversation just the two of us, but we're doing it in public. Why? Because we want to receive questions. And this is this is also a tool. Do what you do, but do it in public.
Yeah.
It's it's a choice. You can work in public. Doesn't change what you are doing. And by the way, if you hear my kids, it's all fine. They're just very young, so sometimes they get very loud, but they are fine. So you can do whatever you do, but open it up. So there is a bakery here in Vienna. It's a wonderful bakery, and they have a glass wall instead of a brick wall because they want you to see them do the cakes.
Mm.
And it's dozens of people that are taking pictures of them, so they're doing the same thing, they're just doing their work, but it becomes even more valuable, and just by eliminating that brick wall. And you can do that by doing your work and then sharing it on socials, sharing it via email with your people, because this will open up for questions. This will open up for these loops that we want to have. That's also part of the research. You are, whenever you are sharing and working in public, you are doing research because you immediately see what works, what doesn't, the questions, the confusions, the objections.
I think so valuable on what you just said. I think like doing work in public is one of the best ways to do research and to find ideal clients. And here's the other thing: if you start going public and you start doing what Simon's talking about, and you go down the path of just verbalizing, hey, this is how I'm working, this is what I'm thinking, and you publicly show it, a couple of things happen. If you start to flounder, which happens, right? If you start to stumble, there's going to be an expert out there that's seeing what you're doing because they're watching how you're doing it, and they're going to step in and help because they've already achieved that. And guess what? This person can now become a mentor. They could become a board of advisor member. They could become a trustee in your company. Like there's a lot of opportunity to look up, but then also look down chain to find clients as well, because clients are going to be attracted to saying, hey, this person is not shy to keep things hidden. They don't have imposter syndrome. Look what they're doing. They're publicly displaying it. That builds confidence in them coming in your direction. So I love this idea of doing everything in public. Simon shared a couple of tools: Claude, Perplexity, and Community. I think Community is probably my biggest number one first, and then I would go to AI because I always like to talk to people. And then in terms of, let's see, what tools or platforms do I recommend for reaching ideal clients? If you're going to play in the social media game, there's a couple of ways you can do it, right? You can run paid advertising, or you can do it manually using like DMs. If you are going to go the DM route, I would encourage you to look at our software. It's called
Flow
flowchat.com. Go check
chat,
it out.
baby.
Flowchat.com is the only one that works on 14 different social media platforms. It's very easy to set up campaigns where you can actually target all of these people. Again, not any sort of pitch here today. I'm just sharing like what are the tools that I use. When I built my mastermind, all I had was my Flowchat account, me and my business partner, Chris. And we did $104,000 in 41 days with no list, no group, no anything. That was just to prove that the tech and the tool was amazing. And now we've helped over 3,500 businesses since. So what I can share for you is like research, right? Ask the questions, do the thing that build in public, I think is really, really good idea. Moving on to the last question here, Simon, how do you evolve your understanding of your audience as your business grows?
When the pandemic hit, we all were shocked. And out of that freezing, I said, how do we unfreeze here? We started creating a Monday get together, 1 hour. Hey, entrepreneurs. I posted on LinkedIn literally, hey, entrepreneurs. Nobody knows how to handle this. So I am freezing. I want to unfreeze. Let's come together and discuss how to handle this situation. And so the title was What to Do in This Situation. I had absolutely no clue how to run our business in this closed up situation, and I had no clue how others are doing it, and nobody had a clue. So we said, okay, every Monday, 1 hour, we come together and we talk about how to handle this situation. Turned out that was a very good idea because it was easier. First, we had to share how we are shocked. Then we had to collect information. Which countries open up what? Which transportations are going to be down? Which will be up? We didn't know. So we had to collect information, digest emotionally what was going on, unfreeze. And after 2 or 3 weeks, you saw already some ideas coming up. Hey guys, we could trade this. And I said, how can you trade this? Well, energy stocks. And then, so you saw the unfreezing in the group, and now we were seeing opportunities. And some of us, we bought energy stocks and we bought telecommunications like Zoom, etc. They went through the roof. But it was clear, but only, or Peloton, and it was clear, but only if you unfreeze. So in that moment, we were freezing. So what I have learned from that particular thing is Audience is not a static thing. It's
Right.
a dynamic thing. Our lives
Right.
are changing. The world is changing, and our life changes with that. So our services and products have to change with that. So to me, it's again a loop. I always think in loops. Hey guys, how are we? I meet my people every week. The group coaching, the Monday session, same people every week. Now you might say, okay, it's the same audience every week. No, when I meet them, I ask them, who are you now? So the first 10 minutes are victories of the last 7 days. And during those reports, they tell me, I closed the deal, I revamped the website. But during that, I'm not listening just for that result. I'm listening for, who are you right now? Who have you become over the last 7 days? Because their life has changed internally, externally. And I'm listening for, how are you evolving into this?
Love that.
So
So
I
good.
don't think I have an audience. I think we have relationships and we are on a journey. And every time I meet you, I will ask you, who are you right now and how can I be of service?
I love that. I love that. Those two questions are game changing questions. So I would write those down again. What are those questions again, Simon? Those two you just said.
So I ask for victories of the last 7 days, but what I
Hmm.
listen for is, who have you become over the last 7 days? Who is in front of me right now? I do not
Yep.
assume that I know who it is because I met you last week.
Yep. Love, love, love that. Um, so so what Simon's kind of sharing, like the best analogy that I can think of, and I love the loops and the loop stuff that you talk about, but I always think about like a river. Okay, so like if you think like a river coming down a mountain, in that river, you are a rock. Okay, we need to make your rock, your business stable in the river. Okay, because now what's going to happen is the fishies happen to be your prospects. Certain fishies like certain bait. Right around your rock, you're going to have some bait. Those fishies are going to see your bait, swim into your world, and then you have this place where that fish can grow and grow and grow. And eventually, that fish is going to get big enough to go down the river again. And that's a great analogy to think of this because, like, as you evolve, your business is going to grow, your rock is going to grow, the bait is going to change, the fish size that is being attracted to your business is going to change, and so it's our identity, it's our responsibility to make sure that we understand kind of like what's happening. And so, a couple of things that I love is when you first start a business and you have clients, those clients are going to want one thing from you. Over time, they're going to start saying, oh, I need this or I need that, or a different type of client is going to come in. Example, when I started and launched our software company, we were focused on solopreneurs. That was the first target audience that we went after. And as a number of solopreneurs got involved, there's about 300 of them. And then all of a sudden, we saw these agency owners starting to pop in there. And I was like, oh, that's a different target. And I started speaking with these agency owners. I was like, what are you using our tech for? And they gave me these use cases that were absolutely different. And I was like, wow, that's pretty crazy. But thank you for sharing. And guess what? We were able now to find a new opportunity and target another niche of people and still have the same targeting. So as our business grew, we had one channel or one artery that would attract solopreneurs, and now we had this other channel based on just people being attracted to what the solopreneurs were attracted to. These agency owners that have bigger companies saying, I use it this different way. Now I can create another lane of marketing that's going to build another entry point into my business. The business with the most entry points wins, period. Remember that. The business with the most entry point wins. Okay. So if you have multiple audiences, think about this. I wouldn't try to just say this is one audience, two audience, three audience, and start marketing to those guys. I would choose one, get specific, go deep, and have other people get attracted to that and let your business evolve. And then that's when you start to shift your audience. The other thing that I do that I think is really valuable is I do sales call reviews with my team. I have a sales team, sales manager, a bunch of salespeople, and I listen to sales conversations every single week. Why? Number one, to make my team amazing, the best in the world. Number two, because I want to understand what those clients are saying, and I want to understand, are they the target that we were focused on marketing to in the beginning? If not, why not? If so, let's talk to them, figure out what's the other thing they're using our tech for, because it might be able to give me another entry point in my business. So that's one of the ways that we evolve our audiences as our business grows. Simon.
Yes, this is my main learning, and I learned it in that shock of the pandemic. But really, is do not assume. And if you are married, if you are in a love relationship, do not assume the person that you saw last week is the same person. Don't come with that grudge. Uh, Come fresh. Give them a chance. When you look at them right now in this moment and ask them, who are you in this moment? Right? You
Mm-hmm.
don't. It doesn't need to be a creepy question like that. But when you look them with fresh eyes. Give them the chance to evolve. Maybe they have evolved totally since last week.
Yeah, in my career, I've trained more than 5,000 professionals. And what I will tell you, Simon, is what you just said. My number one rule of sales: never assume. Period.
Period.
Never. Period. That's it. Never assume anything. Right?
Yeah.
Always ask the
No.
question. It's your job as
Measure.
a sales. Yes, ask questions and measure. And the idea here is really what's interesting is if you're in a sales conversation, let's get really, really granular for just 1 second. I've taken hundreds of thousands of sales calls. And one of the things that I could tell you is sometimes the sales cycle, the length of time from when you first connect to when they buy is always different, right? We can't control that. So if we're in a sales conversation for the first time and this person's having an off day, a bad day that just, their car got smashed or whatever happened, they're mentally not going to be there. And so one of the things that I always do is I always speed check that, or for whatever reason in the call, maybe we go through the sales call and they love what we're doing, but they have something else that's going on. And then we have a second call that we schedule. So you schedule a second call, you get back. The first question you should be asking is, hey, what's changed since the last time we talked? You can't assume. Never assume, period.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Love that. All right. This is fire, man. We got some people dropping comments. Thank you guys for being here again. This is a conversation. Let us know what we're going on. But we're moving into the bonus round. This is the lightning round where we got 2 questions. It's going to be off the cuff. Simon has 30 seconds. I have 30 seconds, and we move forward. And again, we're about to finish up here. Don't forget, next week we're going into gamification for your business. Bonus question number 1, lightning round number 1. Simon, what's one mistake founders make when defining their target audience and how can they avoid it?
We talked about too broad versus narrow, go 5 levels deep. The big mistake is not to write it down. Write it down. So you can use that template on the left side, the 5 positive criteria on the right side, then the 5 negatives.
Love that.
Use something else, but write it down. The reason is when you write down, it clarifies for yourself. Also, it gets deeper into your fiber, into your body. And also now you can give it to new salespeople. A sales team needs always new salespeople. It's the highest fluctuation team in your business. So you always want to have 1 or 2 salespeople too much, and have them compete for the hunting ground, for the for the honor to hunt here. And so you want to have more. And how do you add people if there is no written ideal client and written anti-ideal client? So that's one big mistake. I see teams, they don't have a written anti-ideal client. So what happens now is that the salespeople waste their own time talking to the wrong people. So they're wasting the time of other people and they're wasting their own time, which is terrible, draining, low energy, low results, low checking factor, and that's the terrible situation. And those teams are not doing well.
I love that, guys. I hope you listened. The other thing I'm going to share is totally off the cuff and different, right? There's a point in your sales abilities career where you get good enough to be able to close anybody you want whenever you want. If I look at the last 4 years, as an example, me, last 4 years of my sales journey has been tens of thousands of sales calls, and I have closed at 54%. That's more than every other. I close more than one and two. Okay, which is crazy. That means I have the ability to close the wrong person into our business. Your team might be good enough at sales to close the wrong member into your company. So the biggest mistake I see with founders making things about their target audience is closing a deal with the wrong target. Why? Because now this person's in your business and they're going to become a time sucker. Would you call them energy vampire? Is that the term you used a while ago, Simon?
Yeah,
It was like,
yeah,
yeah, like
yeah.
energy vampire. Like they just steal your energy. They're the wrong client. You're like, this sucks. Get out of here. I hate dealing with this person. All of the employees in your company are just like, God, this person, right? I know you've experienced that. So the biggest mistake that we can make is closing the wrong person. So doing what Simon said, having a list, like, oh, it's done. You have an SOP. Like that's exactly what you need to do. And the second thing is if you did close that wrong client, get another client and fire that one, right? That's what I'm saying. Like fire clients, because if you serve people that don't want to be served, you're just wasting energy. Energy vampires, right?
Yes,
So that's what
and
I'm
you
saying.
will get bad Google reviews. We got one once from Australia, and I have to tell you, when you get a bad Google review, that doesn't feel great, or an Amazon
No, it
review, or
sucks.
because you can't erase it's there forever. And
Yeah.
so the only chance is, first, don't get negative reviews as much as it's in your control. And Sean just shared where is your control point. And the second thing is always make sure you have tons of positive reviews, because now we have
Yes.
like 145 five
Nice.
stars, and now that one 3 star doesn't
Yeah,
make a
it doesn't
huge
affect.
difference.
Yeah, it doesn't affect the overall scheme. Yeah, I tell you, man. Like reviews are. Yeah, I saw. I read some. I mean, and there's stats out there that are crazy, but it's like something like 64% of people look at reviews before they buy now, or some even higher. I don't
I
even know.
do. I
It's a
do.
big number. Yeah. So yeah, that's crazy. All right, last question of the day here. Lightning round. How do you build a community that not only buys but advocates for your business?
Oh, that's the holy grail, right? That's the
Yeah.
holy grail. I wish I had the answer, but I can share with you the search process, what we are doing with our communities. So the people that we coach, they run communities, and we run communities. So one thing is gamify, because that's what we're going to talk about next week. Gamify. So right now, today, I was with my team building the leaderboard inside of our own app, the Strategy Sprints app. If you want to test it, go to the Apple Store. It's called Strategy Sprints. Android will take a few more weeks. They take more time. But on the Apple Store, it's live. 132 people are in there. And now I want to give them points. So if they write something that other people click as inspiring, we have a button which says, I'm inspired. Now they get 1 point. And when they cross 500 inspiration points, they get a badge, and the badge says, I inspired people here. I'm a contributor. So, and those things we will, if they do more challenges, they will get more points, more badges there. And there is a leaderboard. I learned this in CrossFit. CrossFit is hard, and there were two things motivating me. One is not wanting to fail in front of others. I don't want to see other people seeing me give up. So that was
Yeah.
one thing, being in a group of 12 others. And the second thing is there was a leaderboard. So there is a downside risk. Other people see you give up. And there is an upside risk. I want to be on that leaderboard, and I don't want to be in the middle.
I love it,
So
dude. I love
great
it.
design by the CrossFit franchise. And I was thinking, how can I implement this in our community? So the leaderboard has the same thing. You see the top three, but you see also the middle. And in the middle, people are fighting to get up, right? And that's my quick answer to that. But we will share much more next week in the gamification episode.
I love it. I just why I'm looking down here is because I just signed up for your app. So now you have
Boom.
135 people. Yeah, there you go. So I was just actually signing up for it now. So awesome, Simon. That was a great answer for that one. And again, my answer in the lightning round here is how do you build a community that not only buys but advocates for your business? Simon hit it on the head. Advocate, gamify it, make it easy for them, reward them for doing that energy. But I think more so than that is deliver an absolutely stunning experience for your client. That's the one thing that's going to draw them to say, I had this great experience. The other thing that you can do here is in your selling process, the best sales professionals that I've ever studied, and there's been a lot of them, ask for referrals 3 times from start of sales process until and you continue to actually ask for them. So the best places to ask for referrals, number one is at the end of the first sales call. If you gave them a good experience, do it there. The second best place to ask for referral is when they buy. Hey, who wants to come along on this journey with you? Don't go alone. Who's a friend? Right? That's another way to get them to advocate for you. And then the next place is 2 weeks or 3 weeks after, or after they've gotten their first result with your product. Be like, who else do you think should experience that? Who else do you care about that should have that same type of result that you just got? And then they're going to say, oh, this person, this person, this person. So those are kind of like the 3 places that I have in my system based on all the research I've ever done. And then, of course, like we do a 6-month check-in, a year check-in, and we continue to ask for referrals, but making sure that there's at least 3 in the process has been a big key for us to get others to advocate for us. Plus, we built a really kick-ass affiliate system. But again, that's like a whole nother business model basically.
Hey,
So
let's in 2 weeks, let's talk about referral engines and affiliate
all right,
systems.
yeah, referral engines, I'll make a note. Cool. All right, guys, well, that's going to wrap it up for us today. Hopefully that was big value. Drop what your number one takeaway from this session was. We covered some really gold topics, shared a lot of stuff when it comes to how do you identify the right target audiences today. If you have any conflict, we'd love to hear about it too, because we always love the conversation. Let's get into it. But with that said, we're excited to be back for the season. This is season 2 of the Elevate podcast here with your host, Simon Severino, me, and Sean Malone, and Neil Fairmond is actually sick today. But we'll be back shortly. With that said, thanks for being here. See you next
Keep
week.
rolling. See you next week.
Avoid trying to do thousands of things that doesn't work. We have 274 templates for your business success. Reach your ambitious goals with one-on-one sprint coach. We double your revenue in 90 days.
What if your business would run well even when you are on vacation?